Hello everyone, welcome to Brain Blitz Audios. Today, in this episode of Cbse multiple choice questions, we're going to be looking at some questions which can be used as a sample for the English examination for the Cbse exam that will take place in December. Now, as you've known, the Cbse exam has now been bifurcated into two exams, one in December and the other at the end of the academic year. So the December exam is multiple choice based, and therefore all of the subjects that are in grade 10 as well as grade 12 are to be asked in multiple choice questions. So today we're going to be focusing on English and how questions can be asked, especially in the writing and grammar section of English as MCQs. So let's start off with our first question. The hospital board clearly mentioned that you dash smoke in the hospital as it is a health hazard for all. Cannot, must not, need not, might not. So, how do we solve this question? Well, you see that here the question is saying that the hospital board made a statement which says that you dash smoke in the hospital. So, the hospital board made a rule, and therefore it must be fervently followed. And it also says that smoking is a health hazard for all, so therefore the rule would most probably be that you must not smoke in the hospital, as it's a health hazard for all. So therefore the correct option would be option B, must not. If you look at option A, cannot means something that we are incapable of doing, which is not correct, because you can smoke anywhere as long as you put your mind to it. So therefore cannot is not the correct word that the hospital board mentioned. It has to be must not. So option A is incorrect. Option D says might not, and that means the hospital board is requesting people. But again, with such a health hazard as smoking, you need to put your foot down and say that you must not smoke here. So therefore option D is also incorrect. Option C says need not, and that means that smoking in the hospital is not a necessity, is what would be the rule if you use the word need not, which is incorrect. The thing is that you must not smoke in the hospital because it's a health hazard for all. So option B is the correct option. Next question. There's never dash petrol left after Rahul uses the car. So the speaker here is grumbling that whenever Rahul uses the car, there would be very little petrol left, very little fuel left. So we need to find out which of these four words would correctly fit. Much, little, many, a little. So in order to understand which word is to be put here, you need to understand that petrol is a fuel, and fuel is a type of uncountable noun. Of course, when you look at it scientifically, you can calculate the number of molecules, but it's a tedious task. By looking at the can of fuel, you cannot understand how many molecules are present. You have to do scientific methods for that. So therefore, we consider things such as fuel, water, drinks, etc. as uncountable. So therefore, since fuel is uncountable, the type of word that should be put here must also be used with an uncountable noun. So if we look at option C, which is the word many is usually used with countable nouns. So you can say there are many people here, which means that you can distinctly identify each number of people, and after a little observation you can find out the number of people. That's not the case with fuel, so therefore you cannot use there is never many fuel left, because fuel or petrol is an uncountable noun. So option C is incorrect. Now, what about options B and D? They use the word little and a little. Now, note that both of these can be used with uncountable nouns, but there is a catch. Little and a little do not mean the same thing. Little means that there is almost nothing left. So if the statement was there is little fuel left, then there would be almost nothing. However, if the statement is there's a little fuel left, then that means there is a sizable portion left, even though that portion is very less. So that's the difference between little and a little. But if you look at the question itself, there's the word never before the blank. So if you write there's never little, that means there's a lot of fuel. If you say there's never a little petrol, then that means, well, there's nothing left. So therefore, both statements are incorrect, because little, never a little would mean that there's a lot of fuel left. If it says never a little fuel, then that means there's nothing left. So again, both of these are incorrect because the statement implies that there is very little fuel left. So therefore, option A, much, has to be the correct answer. If you say never much, then that would mean a little fuel. So there's never much fuel left after Rahul uses the car. So therefore, option A is the correct option. Now let's look at this question. I am taking driving lessons now. Hopefully, I dash my driving test by November. A, will take. B, would pass. C, will have taken. D, will be taking. So, the author is saying that he is taking driving lessons now, and hopefully, like when you look at the general gist of the second statement, it means that he is aiming to take the test in November. Now, this sort of a statement is classified under future perfect tense. Now, what is a future perfect tense? It is the tense in which the action will be finished at some point in the future. So we need to find out which of these phrases can be used as future perfect, and then that phrase would be the correct option. So if you look at option A, it says will take. So will plus the present form of the verb is usually used as future simple. So therefore, the correct option would not be A. A is incorrect. Now, what about B? Would pass. Well, would pass is, again, not future perfect. So therefore, option B would be incorrect. Now, what about option D? Will be taking. Now, the phrase will be taking, that's will plus be plus the verb form in ing, is future continuous. So that means it'll be continuing in the future. Something that's starting now will be continuing in the future, which is not what the author intended. So the correct option here would be option C, will have taken. If you look at future perfect, it will always be will plus have plus the past participle. And that means that the action will be finished at some point in the future. It is started, so something that's here in the present, it will be finished at some particular point in the future, and that's what this speaker is intending. And besides, if you're taking driving lessons, would pass my driving test by November would be a bit of an anomaly because, well, first of all, there is the idea of whether the test will take place in November or not, because it depends on the instructor. And then even if you have your test, there's, well, a very little chance of passing in the first attempt. So again, those factors would mean that option B would be incorrect. So the correct option here is option C. Now, this question is about reported speech. So we have to convert this particular sentence here. Sunita asked Venkat, how much is the rent for your flat, to reported speech. So as you can see, this is a direct speech, so we have to convert it to reported speech, so that means indirect. So we have to make the sentence in such a way that it is indirect. So if you look at the options, option A, Sunita asked Venkat how much was his rent for the flat. Sunita asked Venkat how much the rent for his flat was. Sunita inquires from Venkat that how much rent he pays. Sunita told Venkat how much the rent for his flat was. Now, among the following options, you can immediately see that D is incorrect, because if you look at the target question, the target sentence, it is Sunita asked Venkat how much is the rent for your flat. So the verb is asked. However, in option D, the verb is told. So Sunita doesn't tell him, she asks from him about his rent. So therefore, option D is incorrect. Now, what about option C? Sunita inquires from Venkat that how much rent he pays. Well, if you look at this particular option, you can see that the word, like asked, has changed from the verb has changed from asked to inquires. So there are two problems here. One, the word gets changed, and two, the tense here is wrong. Sunita inquires from Venkat that how much rent he pays. So this is something that's happening in the present, whereas the target question happens in the past. So option C is also incorrect. Now, what about options A and B? Both of them have the correct verb, asked. So let's look at both of them. Option A says Sunita asked Venkat how much was his rent for the flat. So if you look at option A and the question, you can see that the question part of this particular statement is still direct. So you can see that how much was his rent for the flat is still a direct question. So therefore, option A isn't entirely reported speech. So the most appropriate option here would be option B. Sunita asked Venkat how much the rent for his flat was. Let's look at another example of conversion to reported speech. So in this question, the statement is, she said, I told Damanjit to send you an email 3 days ago. So here, we have to convert this statement into reported speech. So let's look at the following options. Option A says, she told that Damanjit had mailed you 3 days then. Now, the problem with option A not being the correct option for this statement is the following. So in the statement, if you read the statement, the author, that's she, says that I have told such and such a person to send you an email. However, in option A, the subject says that he had already mailed you. So the problem here is that the verb, the action here changes. So in option A, the mail has already been sent. So that means the action is confirmed. However, the question, the statement here, doesn't. It doesn't confirm the action. So it says that I have told him to do so, but I'm not sure whether he has done it. So therefore, option A is incorrect. What about option B? She informed me that Damanjit had mailed me 3 days before. So again, there's another problem here with A. the pronoun here is you. However, well, the thing is that you was used in the direct speech. I told Damanjit to send you. That was part of the direct speech. However, here we're using indirect speech, so therefore that's incorrect. Now, option B. She informed me that Damanjit has mailed me 3 days before. So again, the same problem. There is a confirmation of the action. However, the statement does not confirm. And again, another problem is that the word has been changed here. So therefore, option B is incorrect. What about option C? She says that she has told Damanjit to send me an email 3 days then. So there are two problems here. Number one, 3 days then. In the statement, it is 3 days ago. So when you're writing it as indirect speech, it would be 3 days before. So therefore, it will not be 3 days then. And another thing is that she says. The verb here is taking the present form. However, in the question, it is the past form. So therefore, option C is incorrect. The correct option is option D. She said that she had told Damanjit to send an email to me 3 days before. So again, here the action is not confirmed, and the verb here is of the correct tense, and then the time taken is also correctly written. So therefore, option D is the correct option. Let's look at this question. The dog dashed under the chair before the children arrived. So we have four options: has been hiding, was hid, have hid, had hidden. Which of these is correct? So, well, here the dog did something under the chair before the children arrived. So, what you can understand from this statement is that whatever the action was, it was completed before the children arrived. So the dog did something before the children arrived. So this kind of an action has to be represented by the past perfect tense. So something has happened in the past at a particular point of time, and that happened before another action happened. So therefore, the previous action would be written in the past perfect tense. So let's look at the following options. Has been hiding. This particular phrase is present perfect continuous. So therefore, option A is incorrect. It's the wrong tense. Now what about option B? Was hid. Here, like in the statement, the dog did something under the chair. So we know that it's hiding because all of the four options says hiding. So the dog hid. The dog had hidden under the chair before the children arrived. So the action was completed by the dog. However, if you said the dog was hid under the chair before the children arrived, then it would be implying that the dog was hidden, like the dog was hid by someone else. So therefore, option B is again incorrect. So option C says have hid. Again, hid is, simple past, while in the past perfect tense, we almost always use the past participle. So therefore, option C is also incorrect. The correct option is option D, had hidden. So in the past perfect, we use the past form of has, which is had, and then we use the past participle, which is hidden. So option D, had hidden, would be the correct option. So the correct statement would now read, the dog had hidden under the chair before the children arrived. So option D is correct. This concludes this episode of Cbse MCQs. We hope you found this episode insightful. To learn more about various topics, you can subscribe to our channel. Please subscribe to our channel, which is Brain Blitz Audios. We have a lot of videos uploaded about Cbse MCQs as well as other topics. You can always check them out in our channel. If you want to learn more about MCQs from Cbse, then you can click the link for the playlist that's present in the description box below. Also, if you want to get our latest updates, then please hit the notifications button and set it to all so that you can get our latest updates. So, until the next episode, take care, stay safe, bye-bye for now.